everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Dragonheir, Silent Gods. For today's video, we're going to do a bit of an early game gear guide. Let's talk about forging, what to sell, what to keep, what do you do with excess materials, which stats are actually better, flat stats or main stats, how does that change, and there's so much to talk about, so let's get into it. All right, so we're in the forge. So, your first few days, you're going to get a bunch of this stuff. The very, very boring basic gear, right? This old lovely, lovely, let's see. Yeah, this. This. We don't want this, but hey, in the beginning, you're just going to use what you got. And there's some very important things to talk about with this. Luckily, it doesn't take too long before we're able to get, just a day or two, right? Before we're able to start getting the blue stuff, at least, or some materials to start using it. After we first get that second forge hammer. And that's where things start to get more interesting, and you can really start to be more selective about your gear. So, real quick, let me go ahead and forge what I got, right? So when it comes to forging, for the first day or two, before you start getting that blue gear at all, you're pretty safe to just go ham forging all of your iron ore, honestly. You want options. You need some flat attack chests and gloves, maybe even a crappy little crit rate glove, but that's debatable. You need some defense and HP main stat chests and gloves as well, or maybe enlightenment or accuracy for certain characters. And you really need to just have options. Even though you're early on, you want options. So until you feel like you have enough to properly gear people with at least the appropriate stats, you're going to just use what you got. Once you start going on to Forge 2, only forge as you get stuff. So, like, don't go back here and just blast it all just because you have some. There's no point. There's no point to forge and sell the really bad stuff, because you're gonna need the same material to farm this and this and this. So that's that for at least the forge. But I will say, because you're always gonna get blue materials from random events, even when you're working on your purple gear and your legendary gear, always go back and forge it though. Like, go ahead, forge it. You can farm for ore. You can mark your map for the places you can gather it easily. One thing, if you say there's not enough to do every day, yeah, there's plenty to do every day. It's called you should farm for iron ore every day if you don't have anything else better to do. Because we're always going to need iron ore, and you really get, if you farm pretty hardcore in the higher level dungeons, once you get into legendary gear, you're always going to need this. Personally, I never ran out, but I wasn't a hardcore farmer either. But that's the good thing about this. So you're going to get plenty. Sometimes you're going to get the rolls that are higher, where you're lucky enough to get some back, right? Like we got some in return. That's always nice. But also, you want to sell gear, right? So let's say I'm at the stage where I'm now getting purple gear and it feels so exciting, but I only have so much of it, so I'm not perfectly selling all my blue gear. But hey, I'll keep the best pieces if they have ideal stats, but everything else I'm gonna sell. And well, we're really gonna need to sell because this gold goes fast. Once you start upgrading your purple gear to level 16, this gold is gonna go fast. So my recommendation here when it comes to gear and early forging, forge it all. Every time you get something for blue or purple, check your forge constantly throughout the day, at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, whatever your routine is, and just double check to make sure you don't have anything else to forge. And again, just ignore this once you start getting blue gear. And that's gonna help you have a coin to use by selling all the bad stuff or the lower tier stuff to forge up or level up the actual gear you want. So the gear you want and leveling, let's talk about it all. So there's so much. Now I'm on my main Season 0 account here. 1 second, let me expand my screen's fine. And this is very OP because I'm choosing to go that way. But we're gonna take a look at Zarloth here. I put Zarloth at level 50 for a reason. your first couple days, this is going to be you, right? 50, then transitioning to 70, right? So as you're doing that kind of transition, the ideal gear is going to change. So I guess I could give an example. Let's look at a chest. So do we have flat attack and basic attack? Okay. So if we want to put an attack chest on our level 50 Zarloth, look at flat attack with no other substats. This is going to give him 155 attack, right? It's flat attack, you know exactly what you're getting. But let's look at the percentage. 25% on my level 50 Zarloth only gives me 144 attack. Less than, which, oh, that's funny. That's with a bonus. Never mind. Let's go even more realistic. Is there anything without? Okay, this one does not have it. There we go. Sorry. No substats to contradict it, right? No flat attack in the substats, just looking at the main stat. Attack percentage only gives me 107 compared to 155 from flat attack on a level 70 character. So this is really important to keep in mind because until you're like level 70, but you 3-starred, or was it 4-starred? 4-starred. A lot of your characters are actually gonna benefit more from flat stats. And by flat stats, we mean just attack, HP, and defense without the percent for the main stat. Now, this might, like you said, this is almost the other one. You might be at a benefit if you have attack percent and attack in the substats, or vice versa. You might have it kind of go even stronger that way. But in the beginning, when you're talking about characters level 70 and under, at least 3-star and under for the ranking, you are going to benefit more from flat attack or flat HP and flat defense. So that's just something really important. Now, I'm talking about that for the sake of gloves and for chests. So that's just a really big disclaimer. Obviously, when it comes to our helmets and our weapons, those are always the same no matter what. So there's no concern there. They're always the same. But once you get pushing all your characters, like for me, everyone now is level 80 and higher. Even my Tunnelnon, well, Tunnelnon's the next one to go. He's the only one that's kind of waiting to be a 4-star so he can actually get past level 70. I have to go farm some flame domain materials. So that's something I need to do. Once that's set, my guild boss is going to be my vortex is going to be much happier. But for now, he's the only one at level 70. So I'm at the point now where I no longer need flat stats, right? For me, I think it's safe to start selling those. So one of the first filters I would do, if you're at the stage like me, where you've been playing since Global, you're keeping up with the time-gated stuff, and you have people all going from 70 to 90, and you're working on that progress, you no longer need main stat gloves with flat HP, flat defense, or flat attack. These can now be sold. So that's one thing that's really easy, but luckily our sorting for selling allows us to do that. So let me go ahead here. Actually, it's easier to see it. So we're looking at stuff to sell. So let's do it here. HP, attack, defense. We don't need that anymore as long as you have enough options with HP, right? So like you can kind of compare. You're like, okay, I have plenty of attack percentage options. And oh, look, I have some epics that are going to give me even bigger main stat. That matters. When it comes to the rare gear, though, you can get rid of this at this point. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be like, you know what? I don't want you. I don't want you. And the thing I like about this game, it actually lets you sell gear that's on someone. I love that. That's so cool. Like you don't have to take it off to be able to sell it. I think that's amazing, honestly. But I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to mess up my builds in case I forget and start farming and I haven't changed my gear. So we're just going to sell that for now. But those flat stats for the gloves, and then the same, it keeps the filter as you go. So now the flat stats for the others I can probably sell as well. But let's double check. I want to make sure, do I actually have enough attack percentage chests to go around? Oh wait, I don't. So this just shows how unlucky I got for sake of building my DPSs. I have not a single extra attack percentage chest to put on anybody. So right now, I might still need the flat attack ones, which sucks, but it is what it is. So try to be careful there. Attack is obviously going to be one of the main things you use. Also, for people that need accuracy to land stuff, you could go an accuracy chest, but look for something with those attack sets along with it. Enlightenment plus attack is very popular for my two people here. Flora and Ogak is a perfect example where you're really going to need that. So I'm definitely going to keep my Enlightenment chests. Resistance, I now have 2 options in higher level sets, so I'm not even going to keep these low ones anymore. Don't even want to see them. Resistance plus accuracy is going to come in handy, but honestly, resistance plus skill haste is going to come even more in handy if I really need a resistance chest on someone, which is highly unlikely at this point. I'm going to want the skill haste as well. So that can be sold. Boom, let's just get rid of that. We don't want it. We want the coin to level up all the shiny new gear that I'm getting. Now, when it comes to your helmets and your weapons, that's going to be the hard part, I think. That's the hardest thing to sort. So personally, I don't start sorting my helmets and my weapons that much until I start getting the next level of gear. So like, okay, I'm finally getting epic gear. That means we know that main stat of attack is going to be as high as possible, being level 16. So I don't want this level, I don't want 155, right? Who wants 155? I want 235 as our main stat there. That's what I want. So at this point, I'm pretty safe to sell any sets that are, or anything else I get that is of that, of the blue. I think I'm finally got enough here, but what if all my substats suck? That could be a debate, right? So if you're at the point where you're kind of don't have enough to put these, if you're transitioning from blue gear to epic gear like I am, and you don't have enough epic gear to put on everybody yet, you might want to save some of these. But when you save them, be picky. That's the difference. So like, okay, attack with attack percent. You'd maybe save that. Attack with attack percent. Save that. As you can see, I kind of have already started doing that. Ooh, we rolled crit rate and crit damage. Maybe I need that. This one is a hot mess of stuff. Maybe we don't need that. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be looking for. But I think now that I finally have enough sets here, I don't think I want to save really anything. But that's me personally. I'm kind of in debate when it comes to attack stuff, of course. But here, maybe I would save a little bit more of the HP for the sake of a tank or someone. But honestly, you don't really need to save these low-level sets, because even if you're building a tank that needs HP and or defense, even if you're building someone who needs accuracy like this set, these sets down here that you would say are damage-based are actually going to be completely fine. Farming the Grave of Venom is going to be your #1 priority. Do not worry about farming the Grave of Rot or the Grave of Curse at all. Ignore them. Unless there's an event or a battle pass, which reminded me, there was a weekly battle pass to make me farm Grave of Curse. I might do that just for sake of the battle pass, because why not? But you really don't need to farm those, because you can use this gear on everybody, including your tanks, including your supports, your healers, your revivers, your whatever. So the best thing I'm going to talk about that is what's behind me right here is this piece you can see on the side. This is attack plus skill haste. Even if nothing about their kit scales with attack, the skill haste bonus can be huge. So if you put 2 pieces of that up, boom, all of a sudden you've got, what? You've got 20 more skill haste. Skill haste helps you come back to your battle skill and your ultimate more often. Who doesn't want that, right? And we've got our basic attack speed. That can be helpful for most everybody as well. That's not hurting anything. So these kind of sets can actually really be useful, even if you're like, but it's an attack set for my tank. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just use what you got. And the other take advantage of the other subsets that go along with it. And then just farm the other tier or the other dungeons when you have to, and you'll have enough pieces to play around. And in the meantime, just look for what makes the most sense for your main stats as overall. So let me get rid of that. Like here, you know, I've got, like I said, resistance chests, okay, accuracy chests, okay, HP. So this is HP with crit rate. That's not really going to be needed for anybody. No, damage scaling with HP is very limited or not existent in some of these games. But defense with crit rate. You know what? Defense with crit rate and attack bonus, a crit rate, it's not going to hurt my tank. Furboth, he does damage based on attack. It's fine. We'll use it on him. Why not? And it's still a defense chest. It's still going to be better than using a blue one that's got a lower potential, as you can only take it to 12, not 16. So that's another thing to look at. But overall, I would say when it comes to this, just start to be pickier about your transition. Like maybe just once you've started to get the purple, just stop leveling up the new stuff at least. Maybe keep some of your extra stuff for fluff to go around if you're really starting to build out multiple heroes instead of focusing a core. Maybe keep some of that for now. Maybe sort this later. Use what you need in the meantime in case you really need some accuracy for something specific. But I would say for the most part, don't waste your coin, your gold on any more blue attack gear when you know you're going to be farming a ton of the attack sets for purple now. So keep that in mind. Let's sell that. Boom. We're not wasting our gold on any of that. You know what? I'm not even going to click that. Even though I saved it because of the attack. Nope. I'm not wasting my gold on that. We're wasting our gold on the big stuff. We want the big stuff. Even if it's not as perfect, it's going to be more beneficial overall. And we can actually get dealt extra rolls on them too. And that's where stuff really makes a big difference. Now, let's talk about our runes. So early on, you are going to get blue and blue runes pretty easily. Maybe some purple if your account is pretty good and you can farm a little higher. These are going to be important, and obviously you're only going to get so many. Like, I don't have much, but look at my poison ones are great. So this just kind of comes down to common sense. Once you get a ton of them and you can be more selective, be more selective. You're working on, okay, I have a crit damage one. Oh, look, it has crit rate. Perfect. Okay, I've got another crit damage one. Where is it? Oh, it's these ones. This one, okay, not bad. Oh, I've got this crit damage one with flat defense. Maybe roll it. If it doesn't roll anything else good, sell it. Keep only the good ones that actually have things that line up correctly. If you're building damage, you're probably going to want crit rate and attack or attack percentage in the substats. Just trying to pair things up logically is kind of the way to go. And then eventually we'll start farming the higher stuff in the other runes here. We have the negative and positive runes. The negative runes are last, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But I really hope this helps. I hope this discussion helps because I think so many people get caught up on the idea of flat stats in the bin, right? Which was great. Definitely a Hell Hades motto that you mostly could live by. But you have to be aware in this game, in other games I play, like Watcher of Realms, people don't pay attention to what their actual current level is. And that's kind of a big deal because if your level is low and your base stats are still low, this is also going to be character dependent. If a character has really low base stats in one area, they might not benefit much from a percentage. So just remember, you can always check, always check. So like, okay, we have attack percentage. Where's the flat attack one? Look it. So Tanonan here, flat. So he's luckily got some decent base attack. So even at level 70, not ascended, he's pretty good. So attack percentage on him with no other stats, he's fine. All right. So what about if we want to change to this piece that's on Voresh that has flat attack? Nope, we actually lose 13. So it depends on the character. Some characters at just hitting level 70 are still going to be worse. It just depends on the character and what their base stats are. But luckily over here on the right side, you can always choose. And on the note of discussing, oops, let me move myself over here. So on the note of discussing gear, I do want to call out one more thing to finalize this gear guide is arena and plans and everything. Okay, two things. Number one, plan. You can save a gear set. So let's say who would have my best gear damage-wise? None of these people. It's a hot mess of stuff, to be honest. But let's say I put, which I did not, if I put my best damage gear on my account, crit rate, crit damage, assuming whatever, on Tanonan. You know what, Tanonan. Maybe I did. Let's just say I did, for sake of argument. Okay, we click in. We're in the gear, right? We're in equipment. Right here is a button, plan. You can save this current plan as like DPS number 1, DPS number 2, DPS number 3, etc. And that could help make things a lot easier. And then you can go in and edit the plan, adjust it, and then resave it once it is actually set. So I really love the feature. I haven't started using that, but we do have gear presets. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you save the runes though, so that's something you're always going to need to change. But this can come in handy for the sake of arena. So let's just say you're done with build. Okay, you just farmed a bunch of stuff like I did. You've taken the time to completely re-gear your heroes, and now you want to go to fight your arena battles. But oh wait, I have a ton of new gear. I need to re-gear all my arena heroes. Well, luckily in this competitive mode here, you can set your gear individually, right? For each actual person. You can set it individually, and you can use a plan. So click here, go into it, plan. You can choose a plan that you already saved from your PvE content that has your best DPS gear. Boom, that's it. Maybe you save DPS with accuracy for these guys that need frost or poison or something. Boom, save that, put that in there. That could help you re-gear your account much quicker and not have to do it separately every time. So keep that in mind, and don't forget, guys, if you have a big improvement for gear on your account, don't forget to go into your arena and adjust it as well. And then, yeah, you're just going to have to set your runes separately as you get new ones. If you know you farmed heretical runes, you're going to have to do that manually. But at least the main set itself is still pretty solid and it does save you a lot of time, right? I think it does overall. But yeah, I think that kind of covers the early game gear grind. I hope this was helpful. Once you start farming that legendary gear, good on you, have fun. And then you'll definitely get rid of stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a few more days of farming to get more epic gear. And then I'm hoping I can just sell all my blue gear. That will be so nice, and I'll feel better about my gold situation and not so guilty every time I roll up a bunch of pieces to max, right? But yeah, that's been all for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.